action. Hi, Craig. Thank you very much for coming, for doing this interview with us. Can you just introduce yourself, please?
Hi, yes, thank you very much for asking us to take part. I'm Craig McGee. I'm the Chief Event Organiser of Panoptic Events, and if you can't tell from the accent yet, I'm from Glasgow, Scotland.
You know that people listening to this video are actually, the ones who will be doing all the editing, they're from the US, and I bet they will be like, oh my God, we don't understand this guy. So particularly...
For future reference, it's Edinburgh, not Edinburgh.
Hey, do you actually want them to put you on camera or not? I'm just kidding. You know, as a French person, people always ask me to repeat something. And once I remember we were having a call with someone who is French, who used to work in our office in London before they moved to the French office. And he had a very strong French accent. And a few people, 2 girls from head office, including one who is probably listening to this right now, was saying, sorry, what? Sorry, say it again. And I was translating. It's not even translating. I was just trying to say it with less accent. But it's so funny. I mean, a French accent is not always easy to understand anyway. Okay, perfect. So let's start with the first question. So in your opinion, what changes do you expect to see within the travel industry after COVID-19?
The good start's like Wednesday after part going to be
on a Friday evening.
Oh well, that's the after party. But yes, no, there's going to be plenty of changes. In particular, like summer onwards this year, very much more going to be domestic. It was quite heartening to hear from one of my peers in Lithuania this week that flights from Germany have started landing, which has been great to hear. Like there is hope now, and also seeing small events in Australia and Asia coming together, which has been great. But over the next while, I think you're very much looking at possible like remote site visits, like kind of video walkthroughs, and so much more. There'll be afterwards. You're looking at waiting for a bit of confidence back in the market, I'd imagine. You're looking at international travel not really kicking off to 2021, but most people know this now and are accepting it. So it's just kind of getting ready. Changes will be in terms of the hybrid events, the health and safety of the patrons coming first, and making sure that everything's in play for a safe return, whilst being conscious of the fact that there's very likely to be, or hopefully not, but like a second wave of the virus as well. So it's just trying to mitigate that risk just now, make sure that we've got enough health and safety policies in place as well. I was at a conference online recently where it was actually in America for a remote, and it was this amazing quote. The guy said, and it was basically, there are decades where weeks pass, and then there are weeks where decades pass. And I just was blown away by that sentiment. And that's where we are just now. There's been such a use and a call for technology in events, and suddenly everybody's had to embrace it. And now we're at a position that in this period of time, in the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, people have had to really embrace that technology and learn straight away. Personally, I'd be looking to, as owning a live event company, I'd be looking for more towards a hybrid as opposed to pivoting straight on to full online. So we're able to offer that hybrid solution just now with an understanding that we can do the full online. However, I think going forward, utilising technology in order for safety at events first and foremost, productivity, the speed of which things can get done, taking away needless meetings as well. I think there's going to be a good solution brought in for both hybrid.
And you said, so when you mentioned the hybrid ones, do you think, like, because you organize all the live events, do you expect the venue to do it for you? I mean, of course, the venue should have some equipment, or do you want you to be in charge to actually, so this way you can explain to your customers, I am in charge of all the online or the IT side, so I know it will work no matter what venue we're in.
I think there's a joint responsibility, like same with the health and safety first and foremost. In terms of the technology aspect, yes, some venues have it, yes, some don't. However, that'll come down to ultimately what the client wants and what the client needs, what the guidelines, all these things are. So I'm on an outreach just now to my clients, my leads and my suppliers, and also networking to new people as well. And I believe it should be a collaborative approach. So everyone should take a responsibility in it, have an understanding. And you never know, like it might not be the case that once we go back to normal that suddenly with all the things we're trying to get to work just now, we might not need them all. It's good to know that they're there, but when mass immunisation comes around or whatever, we may be back into a position that we understand the technology more, but nothing's really going to replace that human contact.
I think it was, you're right, you know, when you said that we didn't know much about it and suddenly everybody had to become like kind of expert. The first time that someone said, oh, we were put into a breakout room, in my head I was just like, what? Because I was just thinking, how can you actually, I didn't even know that this technology existed, that you could actually be put in a breakout room online. I think it's also, maybe I'm retarded when it comes to this kind of stuff, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, that it's more advanced. But then again, as you said, I mean, it doesn't replace the face-to-face contact at the end of the day.
It never will and it never should. It's just good that people have an understanding. I think I'm also very, very wary of like suddenly there was a lot of panic, understandably, but like so many people were like, oh right, we're going to go do full event live now, like online. It's like, guys, let's just rein it in slightly, because what was happening was a saturation of a market that basically people aren't experts. It's making sure you've got the right people. And we had to look ourselves and go, we're very good at live events. We don't really understand this technology. So we've partnered up with teams that understand it, have run big conferences, and we know about it, get an understanding of it in case we get asked about it, which should happen. But the thing is, it's like our live event stuff was working, and it's to make sure that we continue to keep working after all this happens, and we'll continue to embrace technology. In fact, internally in our business, like this period has been great for us to actually allow us technology to make us really operationally slick. So I understand the kind of how good it is for us now. And whilst we get to understand more and more about that, it's when we'll then take it to the market for our clients.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good. So can you tell us a bit more about the changes? Because I mean, we've had a few conversations over the past few weeks, and just what was your thought process? Because so you had your company. What's happening now, and what changes have you made to make you a success? I mean, to make Panoptic. I still cannot pronounce the name of the company, by the way.
Panoptic.
Panoptic. I find it very difficult, but that's because I'm French. So
it's Greek. Yeah. So like, what changes? Like
yes.
Like from
like
COVID.
Well, yeah, because I remember you saying, for example, that you started working on a CRM. You actually recruited staff as well. Well, you've had new stuff on, let's say. So if you can just tell us a bit more, like how did you react basically to make your business work in the future?
Yeah. So I'm very. Right. So like obviously once lockdown and things were coming, events were cancelling across the board. Now I do a lot of travelling, and luckily I'd spent time in Europe. So I'd been to Madrid for MIS Summit. I went to Vilnius for the Go Convene. I was also in Athens on a farm trip with 6 DMCs, and I was out in Croatia for Meetex as well. So we've been talking to the worldwide travel market in these countries. So getting a flavour of what was happening, we kind of saw it coming, right? But especially by the time we got to Meetex, which was a very, very largely under-attended due to that, but still felt a safe conference and a good crowd of people there. Now, when I arrived in Vilnius in February, they had a testing station as such at the airport if you weren't feeling well. Flying back from Copenhagen one day, there was a call saying if anyone's been in China in the last 14 days, make themselves known before you got on the plane, which was the first call. So suddenly I realised something big's coming, like happening, and got an understanding of what was going on. And then start of March, ended up in London, saw what was happening to friends in Greece in terms of events cancelling. So I had a kind of running start that, we're not getting to confirm our big events this summer yet, and towards the end of the year. And basically had to kind of sail the ship into calm waters and go, let's batten down the hatches, let's wait and see what happens, but let's get calm. And we stripped all our non-essential costs out, like our office space, everything else, and just was like, right, what memberships do we not need anymore? And let's wait. So when the original panic actually happened, we were actually sitting there going, right, okay, here we go. How long have we got? And we went into a strategy of, right, starting first and foremost, it was business survival mode. And then once we were like, okay, we've done that, we've deferred payments in terms of like tax and all that by speaking to people, just having the conversation like HMRC. So that was good. And then I was like, right, I go into podcasts every morning and I listen to business leaders, and they're asked, if you could go back and start again, what would you do? And I asked that question to myself. And at that time, I was like, right, we need to be operationally slick. So we need more internal operations. So I was like, I want a CRM system. So we built HubSpot to suit us. And then was like, right, we need a marketing plan amended. I also do 90-day action plans. So this was kind of mid-March when this was all kicking off. So we were coming up to the end of our first quarter, which meant the next 90-day action plan was getting done. So on my review, I was like, well, the events we've lost if we'd not had a pandemic. Right. Suddenly they're like, we were going to hit our targets. We were on course to bring in 2 new people. And suddenly then the panic wasn't as bad because I was like, right, I've done what I wanted to do in terms of how we're going forward. So let's take that confidence and not change, but let's adapt. And we adapted to the market around us, going, let's reach out to our clients, let's reach out to our leads, let's speak to our suppliers, let's have a conversation and see what we can bring together, because this knowledge share will really help with what we're going to do going forward. Now, we then adapted our marketing plan slightly for what we're going to do going out. Also on my list of things I needed was the new website. So it was like, in the last 60 or so days, we've now got a fully functioning CRM. Operations in our business are working fine. We've got a management plan that's working for us in terms of an organisational chart, who's coming in. Very kindly, a lot of people who have been furloughed elsewhere have come in and helped us in the background, which has allowed me to look overall at our business systems and actually have them all working. We've got a consultant helping us in terms of research, and it's been really, really beneficial to us. So we're following advice, so many others, and reaching out, creating new opportunities, just to be ready. And what's happened as well is that this kind of calm approach, looking at a long-term strategy, means there's no anxiety. We're not scraping, trying to get win, and do something that we don't believe we can do. So what we're trying to do is go, right, sales aren't going to happen at this point in the plan. However, operations are. And in this time, we're going to push the operations and push the marketing and just really ramp up. But what does that mean for us? At the end, when this graph starts to go down and confidence in the market comes back up, we are now in a position that we can grow. Now, I've been testing this system so that if all the events start coming in, and they'll come in like this, and it will drop, and then it'll come back up, and it'll hit back to our trajectory. But in that time, we'll be able to actually go and grow. Now, anyone can come into my business now and can take on each of the roles. So we've got all that ready to go, and we've been testing this over the last 6 weeks or so to make sure that we know that we can grow at pace. And then when we launch our marketing, our outbound will add to the inbound as well. And suddenly we've got a position that we can actually build a business. And that's ultimately like showing a positivity, looking at the long-term gain, whilst appreciating there's going to be the short-term pain. And that was just having to look at everything overall and go, right, stop.
Yeah.
Let's get into a present state of mind. What can I do today, which will affect today? And then let's review that again tomorrow and continue that process. And therefore, we've not had that panic as such.
Okay. No, but and it's good because we can see that from the beginning you were just like, you had the business mentality of what do we have to do? Because I mean, I've spoken to a few people, and some of them are just like, well, we need to wait and see. And then you're like, well, if you wait and see, you won't be here tomorrow. And I know it's sad to say that, but it's like, if you just like, people have to adapt, people have to innovate, they have to do something, they have to think forward. It makes a big difference.
They have to as well. And I think I've spoken about this quite a bit to people. It's like, I'm very key about collaboration and knowledge share just now, and I think competitors should be out talking to each other, and we're speaking to as many people as possible. All the information I've been getting sent from DMCs and event companies across the world, I'm sharing on my LinkedIn, because I want people to have this information, because if people adapt to that information and go into a sharing platform, it will ensure that we've got competition to go back to. Right, because otherwise people are going to lose businesses, and that's sad. And the thing is, we're not out of the woods yet. But however, I'm trying to do everything we can to mitigate, and make sure, and share that knowledge, and people will appreciate that. Likewise, some of the stuff I'm seeing now is really, really positive, really good. Picking up, learning constantly, making sure we've got the right information, because at the end of the day, nobody knows, right? And it's like, as much information as we can pull from as many people as possible. Someone somewhere's doing something really amazing, and you go, that's great, that could be implemented here. And that's what we're trying to get, and see more and more. So,
well, speaking to some other people as well, someone mentioned that the way forward for the travel industry right now should be for collaboration. So that's exactly what you said, with that saying, we should get all the leaders worldwide, for example, all the CEOs of big hotel chains, even to the small ones, for example, I get them to speak together so we can set worldwide the same standards, like health and safety standards. The rest, it's like check in, check out, that's your problem kind of. But just try to find a way to make it safe for you to have an event in London, to have it in Glasgow or Edinburgh. Just kidding. Or if you then have it in New York, like for people to feel confident that no matter where the event is, the same health and safety will be implemented everywhere. So what do you think the travel industry should do to help? I mean, some of the other companies, I mean, that all the other businesses, all the segments, I mean, they're actually absolutely fine, but the travel industry is really getting a bit hit right now. So what do you think?
Travel obviously is getting hit just now, and the same, but other industries are experiencing a downturn as well. And like, part of my outreach is actually to other industries to find out what they're doing, because that information can be vital, because everyone's looking at events and hotels and event spaces. It's like, well, one of my clients is a group of nurseries, so like, they're going to be one of the first to be going back. Now, there's a lot of people in close contact together. That's information that I can get to work out what they're actually doing, that we can take to large-scale events. It makes a lot of sense to actually be speaking to people. So I think, like, not just only looking into your own area, but also everywhere. On the article I posted on LinkedIn last week, there was a small part I put about the Philippines. The Philippines Convention Bureau, the Philippines Convention Centre. How this came about at IMEX by accident. I hadn't seen the full thing, and I wanted to see the Convention Bureau, but went to the centre by mistake. So I turned up and nothing against that. I was more interested in actually work, because we work with bureaus. So anyway, had the meeting, and she was a lovely woman, and we went.
But I'm not interested.
Yeah, no, but we stayed in contact, right? So,
Yeah.
the thing is, somewhere along the line, the universe has looked out for us, because when I contacted everybody recently about what they were doing, they came back and were like, "We are heading up, essentially pulling together all the mice players in the Philippines," and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
Yeah.
So they're redrawing the rule book. Like, they're the convention centre, the tourism associations, the buyers, the suppliers, they're all coming together. And I was like, this is amazing. And I've not seen it anywhere else. Like, people are coming under guidelines and people are asking questions. It's like, they're just actually going, right, come on, guys, let's talk. And they'll come out with something that will be great in the Philippines. And I cannot wait to see what that'll look like in terms of worldwide. And yes, there'll probably be other places doing it, but in terms of following lead, I think, why are other people not getting together? And like, from me personally, in terms of the outreach, I know the people who have been in contact with me through the questions, who are featuring in the articles, and that's great, because they're the sort of people that I'm going to like, that are learning constantly, and they're very, very vocal, and that could be a really, really strong partnership going forward. Or collaboration and stuff like that. But it's leading to a knowledge share platform that we've all got access to, and we're able to go, this is happening here, that's happening here, and take that into our own events going forward. Get that out. So yeah, I think collaboration's massive. I think just definitely something that people should really be seriously considering.
But one positive thing that's coming out of all this is that I think people are more open to network than a few weeks ago. I mean, since the lockdown, since everybody has to work from home, and it's because people are still busy work-wise or attending just so many webinars all the time. But I feel like people are just more open. Well, it depends what people, because I attended the ITM conference, trying to reach out to a travel manager. It's like a different world. You're like, I'm not going to say don't bother, but it's like but I think other than that, it's been very good for us as suppliers to actually be able to speak to agents, because a lot of the time when we try to contact agents, they're like, sorry, I don't have time to send you an email, no matter how we approach the conversation. And we know people are busy, but on the other hand, so now I feel like for the first time as a supplier, agents have been interested in speaking to us, not because we're trying to sell something, because we're also asking how are you. But so from your experience from the past, and how do you think your relationship with suppliers is going to change, or what do you expect from suppliers now and in 2-3, well, hopefully earlier than that, what do you expect from suppliers?
I don't think in terms of like relationships with suppliers are going to change. It's been interesting to see who is doing things that are good initiatives, that are reaching out. Obviously, this through yourselves is great, because like, you're getting in touch when we're very up for having a conversation. The Deutsche Hospitality quiz, for example, I think when it was first started, I wasn't sure he understood that the idea of how that was really going to bring people together in terms of the communication and creating that kind of community spirit. I think it was more originally a bit of fun, but the kind of the kickoffs from that have been great, because you're suddenly at the front of people's minds, right? Every single week you're coming to do the quiz, you're learning a bit, educating about the brands, but not selling. Essentially, ultimately, it's marketing, but it's not like you need to buy us now. It's very natural. And I hope it continues even after COVID. I've also been invited by like travel media. Alia has been great. She's got in contact a number of times, and we've been to Mexico, we've been to Argentina, we've been to Tanzania, and I've not even left my kitchen.
Did you have the flags? Did you have the flags behind?
I've got an Argentina top. I don't think I've got a Mexico one.
Oh, man.
A very good Mexican trip though. So, but I've been promised I'm going to all these places, so I'm quite excited. But the thing is, like, They're getting in contact going, do you want to see the presentation for Mexico? Yes, like, let's have a look, and we'll see that. And I think it's that reach out. Now, I understand there's a lot of people been furloughed recently. I also think there's a mindset thing that, like, basically, I think at the start, I realised we're an agency, so we're the kind of middle between the client and the suppliers. We know that, right? Now, what's happening is we're getting worried about our clients not confirming, right? And we're watching this happen. So suddenly we're like, okay, this isn't going to happen. But what we realised is the whole market started to catch on. The hotels are then like, we want sales, 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 sales. So basically my phone was ringing non-stop from hotels and groups and stuff. And I had to actually just instructed my staff going, look, your phone's going to ring. This is the line you're going to have to use, right? And but basically that was it. It was just, I went, do not enter into conversations at the moment. This is the line we're using. And it was essentially like, because they're trying to get the sales to get the money in, the same way we were in the middle. Difference being they're multinational companies that can survive off the back of it, other than us trying to just get through. However, we had to be quite clear and quite about that. And I think it probably also helped with the idea that let's just ask everyone how they are and be show empathy, because like we're not selling anything just now. There is not a chance, right? And I don't think people understood that. Now, it was people who were working for others and bosses that were probably on at them going, we need to make targets. Well, guess what? You're not at the moment, so let's work out another way how to do it. And it's actually go, right, let's talk, ask how we are. And not many, I love the fact that you've done this and various others, but it's like, come to us and say, actually, how you're getting on, and have the conversation. Now, we, on a lead we had from about just over 3 years ago, so part of our business is experiential. We had a chat with a guy who was looking to do sponsorship for a football player 3 years ago, which never materialised into anything, even though we do sponsorship. However, his business is 3 years further on, as is ours. We had a conversation, we signed a partnership agreement, and he sent over information based on Premier League football teams, which gives us access to Premier League football teams. Now, that's because we've been strategic in our approach of how we've reached out to our leads, asking how people are getting on, and then seeing there's an opportunity. We work with brands, they work with football. Boom, let's wire it together. But the thing is, what's happened is it's pulled together amazing opportunities for us in that market. Now, part of that business, his brothers get access, they want to do events in Europe. We've got a destination management, we work with European companies. So suddenly we're looking at the hotel market, we're looking at the stadiums, we're looking at as much travel as we can possibly get out in order to get players out there, to marry the services that we pulled together. This collaboration came from us reaching out to someone who a number of years ago we tried to do something for, unfortunately never worked out for either, and that was fine. But at the end of the day, we've done it, and it's taking that approach to reach out to people. Suddenly you realise there's a synergy, and that synergy becomes really important. And the thing is, that'll help. Now, this may not lead to anything, however, we're now in a position, we've had the conversation, we've signed agreements, and we've now got bits in place that we can do things. And this is becoming part, and that's how we grow our business. It's be creative, have the conversations, and let's help each other. Like, and the suppliers that reach out and talk to us that way are the ones that are going to be the cream that will come to the top as well. It keeps us at the top of the head. And the thing is, when I think of Amsterdam now, I'm going to think of the quiz that you had, and I'll be like, 1,200 bridges. Right.
And then you'll be like, they're the tallest. Do you know how was the height of an average Dutch woman?
But the thing is, that's the stuff that becomes memorable. That's the story, you know. It's like the things I've like we'll be having this conversation a year's time, face to face, somewhere around here. I don't know, Asia, you fancy?
Just a bit lower, South Africa. No. Perfect.
But whatever. But the thing is, it's like we'll know that that's came about from this time. Going, remember that time you had your computer on top of a stool, on top of a table in your house?
But that's the thing. I really feel that I really feel like the relationship with people, it's a bit different, because there are some offices where you can just go once a year or things like that, so then you're quite limited and you have a conversation over the phone. It's very different, and I feel like now, first, when you have a call, like, I was supposed to go to ITB, and of course they canceled a few days before. So all the meetings I had, as soon as they canceled, straight away. Well, it was on Friday night, I think. On Monday, I sent an email to everybody saying, "Can we have a video call instead?" And a few people, like most of the people, accepted. And I thought it was so nice to actually have a video call, because then I think for the first time, before it would have been a phone call, but the fact that it was a video, it makes such a big difference. You just feel like it's not that, oh, now I have to pay attention. It's just that it helps. Oh, I can see you. Like, I see you, so I can see, and we can have a proper conversation.
Yeah, of course.
So now, quick question. Do you have any? Have you received any inquiries in the past couple of weeks? No. Well,
No.
we are receiving. Someone yesterday said that they've had their first group confirmation. So
we have. We did a couple of charity things at the start, and we confirmed some stuff in December. The only sort of inquiries, because we moved most of our stuff into 2021, pretty much. So I think that was part of the start of this. We kind of moved as much as we could, and we're at that position at the moment. Like, we're doing a lot of sales training, we're doing a lot of marketing planning. And we've actually been warming up our leads now, so we're actually at the point of let's start to see what we can put out. But we're just waiting for that confidence, and that's like, and I get that that's where we're at the moment. So I think it's just a case of making sure we're ready for everything.
It will come. We will come.
Yeah, like in terms of the events that we have had in place, we're moving. We're just waiting, because it's worldwide. There's some parts of one of our events in Brazil. Some of the staff are off in the venue with which we're actually moving the dates from at the moment. So we're just waiting on that coming back, which will then move and switch the entire event, which is great business for us. So we're just waiting for that to happen. But at this moment in time, it's like, let's get creative. Let's just see what we can do internally. Use the time very wisely, because we're in May just now. Like, this is the start of, well, April and May for us is the start of our crazy season through festivals, through our bigger events, which get large through the summer. Then we hit Edinburgh Festival, and then we go into retail. So it's actually quite. It's nice to have this break. And there's also something to be said about, actually, we've not got events to concentrate on, so we can actually concentrate everything in terms of what else we're doing. So we're making full use of that just now, so that this time next year we've got 4 times as many events in the times that we've got. But that's ultimately we want to be in the position to get to that.
It's a bit like enjoy the rest while you can get it. But it's true. That's like the first time we were told, like this year we're not going to have a booth at WTM. I remember with my colleague when we were on a conference call and we were just like, and we started dancing because we were just like, yes, we get a break from WTM this year. They never exhibited again. But at that moment, you just feel like because sometimes you also have to, I think it makes you think, why are we doing some things? And now especially, I think it's happening on a personal life and on a work life. Why are we doing all this? Do we actually really need to do it? So, sorry, go ahead.
That's one thing that I noticed years ago in my own life. So when I worked in the music industry, I was working all the time. And the thing is, I love music, so I was promoting bands, and then I was going to gigs, and then I was DJing, and then it was just repeat. It never felt like work, but it was. And I had a news website as well, so I was constantly on the computer. I was out at gigs. Mad. So when I actually set up Panoptic, I set up an events business to basically fit around my life. And I kind of went for the choose life approach first. I want to travel. I want to be able to switch off when I can. And I'm very lucky that I've got that kind of attitude to life. But that's came from having worked so much in the past that I've went, I want to be healthy. I want to enjoy. I want to travel. I want to see things. I want to make up for the time of the things I missed out on in my 20s, essentially. And ultimately, that's what I've kind of really embraced the last few years. And we met last year. Like I was 126 days of travel last year, but that was deliberate.
Wow.
Like I started a routine a couple of years ago, which I've finely tuned, that is based on visioning, it's based on goal setting, it's based on getting really focused and being really organised. But the thing is, it actually is based on actually not doing that much in the way of work. So it's actually going, right, I can get up, I can do this, I can learn, I can swim and I can think, but then I'll get the focus on what we're actually trying to get out. And then from that, it's going, right, where are we going next? So the whole business was set up to be remote. I want my staff to be able to be access to that. So the switch for us wasn't a big thing. That's the only reason we went back to the office was because I actually asked the staff a while back when we were moving between places, do you want one? And they agreed yes, so we went for it. But again, going back to remote, not a problem. But it's funny, like going into this whole period of like being stuck building on everything we're doing on the business just now. It's like I really want a holiday, right? And
a real one.
Yeah. But the thing is, and I do want that real holiday because it's at that point I'm now thinking, yep, actually that would be great. But also the fact of the matter is, like, I'm feeling healthier for it in body and in mind at the moment, and it's because I've chosen. I've still got that philosophy of like life first. I have to be day to day. I want to eat well, I'm going to go to my bike once a night, like after work, and continue to keep doing that. And I think like a lot of people are getting to take stock of this time now. And I hope a lot of people take it on board, that they actually go, right, I'm not enjoying this. I hate this lifestyle, because it's unhealthy for a lot of people. And but one of the best things, completely unrelated to our industry, was I was a football forum I read, and there was a guy who was talking, and he was like, I pay so much money for this lovely house, and I travel the world all the time. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. And he's like, 3 weeks into not being able to travel, I was like, why did I pay all this money for this house? It's like, I never see my family. I'm not seeing my kids growing up. He resigned. He's like, it's such a well-paid job. He's like, I don't even care. Stop. And I'm just like, yes, right? Because it's like, that's the attitude it should be. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you choose what makes you happy. At the moment in time, it's travel for me. It's meeting new people, finding opportunities. I'm still young enough to be able to go and build my business and everything else. But it's like, how do I try to get that message out to others? That actually follow your passion, follow your dream, and use this time to do it. And guess what? If you don't want to do that just now, that's fine as well. But also, let's just look at what you like enjoy doing. Because what I think might happen is people will go back to work, and I think once they get back into that work, they go, I hate my job. And I think that's probably the catalyst that a lot of people might go, actually, let's get out of here.
Time to change. It's a bit like after Christmas, when everybody wants to resign because they've had the family talks with everybody saying, come on, you can do it, just change jobs. If you look at it, I think it's the same thing. Like, but, I really wonder if people like, if for example now, because you said you wanted a holiday, I'm just thinking, I'm hoping I can go to France. So I was supposed to go in April. So now I'm just like, normally I'm not a big fan of going to France. I'm just like, I'm just going to see the family. But now having a little one, I just want to make sure that the family gets to see her.
Oh, massively.
So now I'm just like, I can't wait to go. But I was actually thinking, I wonder if people, because obviously, we're still preparing. We're also preparing our business. And I was just saying, I think people will actually be fine. Like everybody's talking about high rates or low rates. And I was like, I think people will be fine to pay the same rates, but they're going to want more value. It's they're going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? Listen, I've been locked at home for a few weeks. Now I just want to go to a really nice hotel, as long as there's outdoor space, as long as there's a jacuzzi on the balcony, for example, or something completely different, where they will be like, you know what? Let me just like it's not like we sacrifice ourselves, because it's to protect ourselves, our health. But we haven't done that all this time, so let's go crazy, but in a healthy way. It won't be like, let's go like a limited champagne. I don't think that would work. I think it's more the little extras for your own health that will actually work.
Unlimited champagne would actually be great for my health right now.
Hey, this is against everything that you've just said. I'm just going to stop recording this.
Oh no. It's a good for the mind.
Yeah, no, but that's
And
the
the
thing.
soul.
I really think that people will change a bit the way they travel. I mean, travel will go back to normal, but how do you see, or like when you speak to your clients,
Hmm.
what do you get? Because you said you need to gain the confidence again of people to travel. How are you trying to? How do you speak to them?
Confidence will come from what will come out in the news, sadly. As much as
Yeah.
I try to avoid the news, it's like, as I said, it was heartening this week when I heard from Murta down in Go Vilnius, and she was talking about the first flights arrived from Germany. I think Croatia, it's similar, which is great to hear that there is that, and there's like smaller events happening across the world. In terms of travel, I think it's going to come down to my own personal take on it is actually like tomorrow, like the German football season kicks back up and it's behind closed doors, right? Usually football's obviously mass gatherings of people that come together. And I don't think the confidence so much will come in the market until we're able to go to football matches. Just as an example, or concerts or festivals again. I think once you start to get all that group of people together,
Yeah.
and it's all well and good, people going, 10 people at this event, 30 people at that event, and then it's going to be up to 100. Great. That's what events are. However, it won't actually be until we get to a point that mass gatherings are happening again and there's a total confidence in that
Yeah.
market where I feel that suddenly it's okay just to jump on the plane and go wherever.
Yeah.
So for a period of time, it'll be nice. The beaches will be empty, and, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to relax and stuff like that. And there'll probably be very good rates for events at the start of next year as well, I'd imagine. And there'll be slowly a confidence coming back into the market. But yeah, I think like the next period is going to be, especially for like suppliers and venues, is going to be the original kind of like fam trips, getting like bloggers and news involved more so than buyers, like getting
Mm.
that confidence, getting the market spending just now. I think I read something or heard about Sicily recently offering like to pay part of the holiday. Now, in
Yeah.
terms of marketing, like I don't know the deal, but I know that Sicily are doing it, so that's a major tick for Sicily, you know.
Yeah.
Others, and that's the added value you spoke of, that they're offering, like the travel or whatever it is they're doing. The people are going, actually, I'm going to go there instead of going to wherever else.
Yeah.
Um, I think so. Like things like this will help. Yeah.
Basically, whoever is going to be stronger in marketing, but the kind of marketing that you want to, that feels that it's the right thing to do, as well, I guess.
I would say so, yeah. I think like added value definitely, but that shouldn't be added value should always come anyway, like
Yeah.
regardless. And sort of under promise and over deliver kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And the thing is people get that. They go to hotels they love brands of hotels because they make them feel very welcome. And it's continuing that.
Mm.
Um yeah, and that's definitely one thing I'm certainly seeing. And as much as we're all striving for this technology and what the pivot is and
Yeah.
what's the hybrid events and all that, the thing is everything's put in place to get humans further and further apart from each other. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, we understand why that is, but the thing is, we're wanting to embrace. We are human. We want a cuddle. We want to go to the pub, have a beer. We want to celebrate a goal. We want to enjoy. We want to dance. You know, all these things. And I think like
Mm.
the outreach to the clients, the suppliers, is all about showing empathy.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that when the market comes back, we need to be human to each other once the market's back again.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think this is actually a good way to end this. But I was saying this morning. I was in the park, and I feel like we're looking at each other. You know, you look at someone, and then you're the only thing you're thinking is, "Don't get too close to me," because I think and it's sad because we've actually been almost brainwashed into. And
Yeah,
I know social distancing, and I know it works, and I need that's what we have to do. But you look at someone, and then you're like, "No, stay where you are," and I find
yeah,
it really weird, and I can't wait to actually go over this point where we'll feel comfortable going and hugging someone, or going and just be okay to eat next to someone, instead of just thinking, no, yeah, so you're too close, what if you're sick? And I feel like we're just getting to this point that you're like, hey, like, but it's, I think, the media, I mean. But hey, positive note, things are reopening, so.
I don't watch the news.
Well, honestly, I kind of stopped now. Now I'm just like in the morning and in the evening, just briefly, but I'm just like the basic stuff. And like today, for example, I was excited when I saw that Germany's reopening borders with the UK. I mean, they're planning in June. So, you know, small things like that where you're like, good, like things are happening. And I think it's a lot of positive news. If we would have done this interview 2-3 weeks ago, I don't think we would have had the same, I'm not going to say the same smiles, but, you know, I don't think we would have had the same type of conversation that now.
Yeah, I think, like, I mean, that's what I said. I did a European travel market one a few weeks ago, and I'd said, like, let's have this conversation again, because we're going through this period of, like, quick, fast change. But again, it's going back to the decades quote recently, like I said earlier, it's like how that things are learning and changing fast, and the landscape is changing fast. But again, it's just, let's not forget, let's kind of keep that positivity going, let's keep the communication, let's start talking, like collaborating, sharing, you know, just reaching out, because I'd love to think that the friends I've actually made through lockdown, I will continue to make when I finally meet them, and that's been like, it's been incredible. So it's not been a huge, I mean, okay, I can't physically see people, but but it's not really stopped me in terms of that networking and continuing that process of actually meeting folk to create ideas together, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a nice way, like collaboration. This is like your word. Collaboration. And it's true.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's 100% of nothing's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like 50% of something, you know. So it's like, let's talk. So.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, is there anything you want to add, or do you feel like it's time for a beer or for champagne? Apparently.
Well, I'm waiting to find out if Celtic are going to be announced 9 in a row champions in the league. So if that happens tonight, there's 2 bottles of champagne in the fridge, so they will be dragged. I think I might have to wait slightly, unless it's happened. I've left my phone.
It won't be clap for the carers. It would be like clap for the football. So it's like,
of course. Obviously, we'll clap last night on the football. So
yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time. So what will happen now is that I'm going to send this to head office, and they're doing that. So we have over 80 offices worldwide. So every office has been tasked to do the same thing, because we're trying to gather as much information as possible globally. So it will take a while, and then once we have more information, once we have the data of the surveys and everything, we'll be able to share them. So I'm not sure how long it will take, but at least the good thing is that we'll have information worldwide. I'm hoping actually that my colleagues from the Philippines will be able to get some information for you. That would be great.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Craig, and we'll see you on Thursday then.
Quiz
time. I don't know what's the topic, so but let's see.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.